Alrighty guys, we're back for some Mono Green Stompy, and this is a Wilds of Eldraine Standard brew. We're gonna go over the deck, then hop right into some ranked, but first things first, for anyone who may not know, I'm Red Cat and I play aggro decks and decks with red in them as well, so I hope that sounds fun to ya. Also, we do get that Discord link as well as that Patreon link down in the description if you're interested in joining either of those up. Okay, what do we got packed into the build here? First of all, I called it Mono Green, but we are splashing black in this list. For two cards in particular, we got Restless Cottage as well as Mosswood Dreadknight. So, Mosswood Dreadknight is a 2-mana, 3/2, rock and trample, and when it dies, you may cast it from your graveyard as an adventure until the end of your next turn. Now, the adventure side is a sorcery speed. It's called Dread Whispers for 1 and a black. You draw a card and you lose 1 life. Overall, I think Mosswood Dreadknight looks like a super solid creature. I totally think it's going to be worth the splash of black in here to potentially restock our hand, right? Then also, like I said, we're splashing black for that Restless Cottage. It enters tapped, unfortunately. You can tap for Golgari colors, and then for 2, a black and a green, Restless Cottage becomes a 4/4 black-green horror creature until end of turn. It's still a land, and when it attacks, you create a food token and exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard. Yeah, dude, the Restless lands have been terrific so far. Just being able to power this up after the opponent wipes the board or something in that mid-game could be really, really good. So yeah. What else do we got packed in here, guys? Well, rocking 4 Ascendant Packleaders. We're not too worried about putting counters onto this. We don't have too many mana value 4 or greater. Realistically, this is just in here because it's a really solid 1-drop, being a 1 mana 2/1, right? Now, as far as mana value 4 or greater, we do have a top end with a couple Ulvenwald Oddities. 4 mana 4/4 trample haste is good, dude, and it has that transform ability. I don't know how often we activate this, but for 7 mana, transforms into Ulvenwald Behemoth, which is an 8/8 trample haste, and other creatures you control get +1/+1 and trample and haste. Do got a little bit of ramp in here. I just don't know how often the game is actually going to go on that long to where we actually need to transform Ulvenwald Oddity, you know what I mean? Now, as far as like the splash of black goes, we do have other ways outside of the mana base. We are rocking like the Llanowar Wastes here, by the way. I'm opting for the Pain Land because our first couple turns really, really matter. Anyways, yeah, other ways to splash that black. We got Jewel Thief. So that treasure obviously is mana fixing, but also just like 3 mana, 3/3 Vigilance Trample. Not bad at all, dude. And it's a common. I love that. And it's a cat. What's not to love about Jewel Thief, you know what I mean? Llanowar Loamspeaker as well, taps for any color, and then we've actually wrapped up quite a few games just here on the channel with that bottom ability. Powering up a land into a 3/3 comes in handy way more than you would think, so. Okay, oh, another new card here to go over. Feral Encounter is a 2 mana, sorcery speed. It's double green up there, by the way. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may exile a creature card from among them, put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. You may cast the exiled card this turn. At the beginning of the next combat phase this turn, target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to up to 1 target creature you don't control. So potentially finding us a cheap creature to cast as well as taking out one of the opponent's creatures. Yeah, I'm interested to see if this is actually going to be any good. I think it should be good in a deck like this where we have a lot of 2 mana creatures, a lot of 1 mana creatures as well, just like cheap creatures in general that we can actually play out with this, right? Top 5 cards is a decent amount of cards when we have 30 creatures packed in. Oh my goodness. So we should be able to see a creature with the Feral Encounter every time we cast it. And sometimes you're just going to be casting this even though you're not going to hit a creature with it. Sometimes you're just going to need to remove something, so. All right, what else do we got packed in, guys? I'm opting for Tamiyo's Safekeeping as our choice protection spell because of the life gain, since I am opting for that Llanowar Wastes as well as we're losing life for the Dread Whispers. I think the life gain is going to really come in handy. Also, a 1 of Giant Growth. Just want to try it out in here, man. I think there's going to be a lot of moments where Giant Growth actually does a thing or helps us wrap up a game. We have a lot of trample in here too, so I don't know, man. I think it's going to be a good in here. Evolving Adaptive is one that we don't get to see too often. Did I go over this already? I'm kind of all over the place, man. So this is a 1 mana 0/0, but it enters the battlefield with an oil counter on it. It gets +1/+1 for each oil counter on it. And then, whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, if that creature has greater power or toughness than Evolving Adaptive, put an oil counter on Evolving Adaptive. This can get out of hand really fast. And speaking of getting out of hand, Quirion Beastcaller really gets out of hand. Those counters get wild very fast. And like I said, yeah, 30 creatures. This is going to be getting buffed often. Bloated Contaminator in here as well. That Proliferate works with the Beastcaller and the Adaptive. I mean, we've seen these 3 cards being played in mono green in the past. Happens to work out nicely. Also, do you just like look at the stats on this, man? 3 mana, 4/4 trample, and the toxic, and that bottom ability where we can potentially proliferate. Like, how stacked could a card possibly be, dude? So, also Invasion of Ixalan is in here. It's a 2 mana Battle Siege, rocking 4 defense counters. When it ETBs, you look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal a permanent card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. If you ever get rid of those defense counters, comes out as Belligerent Regisaur, which is a 4/3 trample. Whenever you cast a spell, Belligerent Regisaur gains indestructible until end of turn. Really solid Battle Siege, guys. Kind of feels underplayed, huh? But a lot of these cards feel underplayed just because green, I guess. Okay, is that everything already? And the mana base Who Endures is over there, as well as 21 total land should totally be enough for this curve, I hope, right? I mean, there's going to be plenty of moments where we want to do multiple things on the same turn, but with 21 land, it's not like we're going to be chilling at 2 land for 6 turns, right? We got some honorable mentions over here. I thought about Ginger Brute instead of Ascendant Packleader. I think that could be cool, maybe in a different build, because yeah, like plugging extra counters into it when like a Beastcaller dies or something. I think Ascendant Packleader pairs a little bit better with like the Evolving Adaptive, because if you get this down and it's a 1/1, and then you play Ginger Brute and then the Evolving Adaptive doesn't buff, it just doesn't feel great. Instead, you play Packleader and it's a 2/1, and then this immediately goes up to a 2/2. So that sounds a little bit better, but I definitely thought about Ginger Brute instead. And it could be a budget option instead, because Packleader is a rare. I thought about Galagreeters. That life gain could come in handy. And just like in general, Galagreeters is totally great in a deck that's slamming down a bunch of creatures. Also, Augur of Autumn could be a great way to just keep on slamming creatures down. And that Coven would be super easy to activate in this build. So, okay, guys, is that everything already? All right, let's go ahead, take it into some ranked and see how we do. All right, what am I expecting from the build? I have no idea. I don't want to say I'm expecting too much, because if I end up saying I'm expecting a lot, then it might end up being janky. You know what I mean? That happened in the last build that I thought was going to be great, so... yeah, I probably somewhere in the middle, right? I can imagine. We go first. No 1-drop. This is probably keepable, right? Probably. Because we start with Cottage, and then we have our turn 2, and it's probably going to be Loamspeaker over the Dreadknight. A Plains from the opponent. Yeah, we'll get the Loamspeaker down and potentially have that turn 3 Jewel Thief. And honestly, if we see a land off the top, we probably double down on Dreadknight next turn. Could also go for the draws first, but now I think we want to get creatures onto this board, right? Oh, we did see a land. I think that's worth playing. So I have Feral Encounter if we want to try finding one of our 2-drops. We could take out the Lunarch. And instead of swinging, play the 2-drop off the Feral Encounter. You know what? I'm going to give it a shot, dude. Oh, no, we only found our 3 drops. Well, this is awkward. Okay, I guess we could decline, right? Yeah, we'll just decline. That's totally fine. And then what we'll end up doing is we'll keep the Tamiyo Safekeeping open instead of swinging with the... That's funny, man. I guess it's a little risky going for that Feral Encounter because there's a good chance that you end up missing. Whereas we could have set up a turn of a couple Dreadknights, right? I was just excited to play a new card. We definitely could have had a better turn there, though. Tamiyo Safekeeping not coming in handy this time round. See what we end up seeing off the top here. Evolving Adaptive. Okay. Okay. So, Evolving Adaptive is a great play, I would say. Like, we do that first. We still have Jewel Thief, and then we still have Tamiyo's Safekeeping open, too. Yeah, that's fine. We buff the Adaptive, and we can still buff it next turn with a Mosswood Dreadknight, too. We get to keep the Tamiyo Safekeeping open again. Yeah, I'm not sure if, like, the Lunarch Veteran was worth taking out with that Feral Encounter, man. It would have been really good had we seen a 2-drop. We have 12 2-drops packed in, but yeah, that's not something to bank on for sure. And 8 1-drops, too. So I guess that we still had a good chance, but no. 3 of our 2-drops were in hand here, too, so... But it was the top 5. I guess, yeah, it was a good chance, huh? Of seeing something that we could play that turn. Totally worth protecting, dude. We don't need that treasure. Definitely worthwhile. Wedding Announcement, helping them go wide. Now we could double down on the Dreadknights, but Evolving Adaptive is still just a really solid draw. And I don't know when we decide to do the adventure side of this. Hopefully this isn't the type of deck that's rocking a lot of board wipes. You never know with Wedding Announcement styled builds, dude, so... triple block into Loamspeaker wouldn't be great. I think we swing just for the sake of swinging. If they do triple block Loamspeaker, then at least we take out the Phantom or something before they all get a buff next turn. And losing Loamspeaker wouldn't be the worst thing in the world either, so... Overall, I'd say we had a pretty slow start, and it's probably my fault for getting so greedy with that Feral Encounter, right? So hopefully it's just... Okay, Wedding Announcement. Okay, hopefully it's just like Selesnya tokens and they're not doing anything with board wipes or... Oh! Spirited Companion. I guess it could be... Selesnya enchantments, but they had a really slow start if it's Selesnya enchantments. Yikes, dude, yikes. Wedding Announcement being a lot for us to deal with right now. So we could... Yeah, that's a lot, isn't it? If Safekeeping open, if we go Dreadknight, we could draw something, but we could also buff that Adaptive before the swing. I think I like that. And then we go... we could also power up... That's not the land I would want to power up into a 3-3, though. They got double blocks for days, man. I think what we end up doing is swinging with our 4 in the middle here. See where they block, and then have that Tamiyo Safekeeping. I mean, we definitely got to keep swinging. Oh, they're going to be taking 9. They trade out the 1. I think I'm just going to let that die. Right? Because that's not bad, dude. They're down to 6. Up to 7, actually, since they lost a creature there. And then we get to cast this. Which, it's sorcery speed. We have the open mana now, but I think keeping Safekeeping is a little bit better here, right? I think so. I think so. Another land from the opponent. I mean, we're definitely doing the stompy thing with all these creatures, but... Ooh, buddy. Virtue of Loyalty is really, really bad. Oh my goodness. Okay. We're in trouble, dude. We're in serious trouble. This Wedding Announcement's getting them another creature. They're swinging in the air. Down to 20. It's too bad this wasn't instant speed as well. Virtue buffs all of their creatures. Dude, they're back up to 8. And it untaps the Luminous Phantom. Oh my goodness. I would call that Selesnya mid-range, right? I would totally call that Selesnya mid. Oh, we're like super dead here. Okay, another land isn't bad though. We power up a land, it easily trades. These Wedding Announcements keeping their board so stacked. They might even wait for a trade. Now we're like super dead. We're just going for it, dude. Especially with the untap ability on the Virtue of Loyalty. Yeah, man. Yeah, we're going for that swing. We also have Safekeeping open here too, so. This would be a good example. Like, depending on what they think they could survive, like we have that one of Giant Growth in here. So like, you know, if they left something, like for example, if they left 2 creatures going through, going down to 2, and then we just like Giant Growth or something. Now it's only a one of, but still, that would be a good example of when a card like that would come in handy. See, they are taking 6, so if this was that one of Giant Growth, that would be actually a great way to wrap up the game. Okay, we could save one of the adaptives or the land. I think one of the adaptives, right? Yes, that's fine. And it's looking like... So they're down to 2. We still have enough creatures. They lost 3 of their cards, so... Or 3 of their creatures. Back up to 5, because Luminous Phantom is a solid card, man. Luminous Phantom. Yeah, I think this could have gone either way had I played it out a little bit better in the early game, guys. Oh, Calyx, nice. Dude, how scary. This is like a slower version of Selesnya enchantments then, right? More mid-range style because of that Virtue of Loyalty. That's what I would call it, at least. More mid-range style, especially if they have like all 4 of the wedding announcements too. Yeah, the untap though. We don't have Cottage available. We still kind of sort of did a thing. I think we showcased the deck relatively well, huh? It gets 3 power creatures on the board very easily. All right, no attacks. See what the opponents end up doing. I'm pretty sure it's just full swing every turn until we're dead now because they continue to untap their creatures at the end. Dude, every time I've gone up against Virtue of Loyalty, it has been brutal, man. I'm surprised we don't see more of it, though. Oh, they only swing in the air. I mean, I guess that works, too. They can play the slow game quite effectively here. All right, we're going to go for a full swing, man. Why not? Let's do this. Do they not have anything in the graveyard? Well, that's a little bit embarrassing. Yeah, we can submit 0 here. They have nothing in the graveyard, guys, and it's because they were able to cast the Lunarch Veterans back, but still. GG opponent. Dude, Selesnya mid-range? I like it. We also don't exactly know what they were trying to play either, though. Like, it could have potentially been trying to do a faster thing. Also, it could still be just Selesnya enchantments that has that token theme, too. Oop. Good game, buddy. Go ahead and swing on in. This is a good time to remind everybody, always feel free to skip ahead. I keep the chapters at the bottom of the video and timestamps in the description as well. I like to stick it out, especially, like, how often do you actually get to swing in with lethal, huh? I feel like conceding happens a lot, and then there's that one quest that I always bring up. It's a super annoying quest where you have to attack with creatures, and if you're crunched on time, sometimes you get like a board state set up and the opponent doesn't actually let you attack in, and if you're crunched on time, you're not going to get that quest done anytime soon if opponents keep conceding, right? So I like to, especially when the board state looks fun like that, that was completely overwhelming. The double wedding announcement, the Virtue of Loyalty, like, wow. Was it that simple? It really was. But we really plugged in damage too, so. All right, I'm gonna give this a shot, dude. Looks totally fine. 21 land within the next couple turns. There's a good chance of seeing our third for the Contaminator. Okay, Dreadknight. You guys suppose that's a trade? Probably not. I think we can squeak this 2 damage by. And Dreadknight. 3-2 trample is totally fine. Yeah, Feral Encounter, you kind of need to have more land on the board, so that might be a case to be said about having 22. Oh, dude, I definitely take that trade, man. We didn't see a black source, but that's totally fine. I'm fine. Everything's fine. We should take out that Naturalist and swing, huh? It has to be at the beginning of combat, so we can't just, like, swing, like, you know what I mean? They'll let the 2 go by. And we decline because we can't actually play anything. We just end up using this as removal. And then we get that swing. Yeah, the way Feral Encounter reads, it's at the beginning of the next combat phase. Yeah, I think removing their two value cards was decent. Hey, there's our third. Restless Cottage is excellent, dude. We could go Feral Encounter here. But I think now we hold back and just go for the swing. Keeping Safekeeping open is totally fine in a deck that definitely has, like, the exile removal enchantments and stuff. Calyx, okay. That's dangerous. That's dangerous to say the least. Yeah, so we saw a slower version of Selesnya for the first game, and now we're seeing that fast-paced Selesnya enchantments. This is dangerous, dude. We are in danger. Oh, Jewel Thief is good. I'm looking at that Feral Encounter, dude. Could we find a 1-drop? Potentially. Taking care of Calyx is probably important. I guess we do that. Oh, we found a 1-drop. There we go. Nice. Yeah, missing that first game, we honestly might have been a little unlucky, so... we can play this until the end, but I'm just going to play it now, because we're about to take out the Calyx and swing anyways. So we go you. That's cool, guys. That's cool. That's just like a little bit of extra value packed onto a card. That's what I'm talking about, man. Yeah, in that first game, finding a 1 or a 2-drop. I guess we kind of sort of had a good chance since we were seeing 5 off the top. I don't know. I really don't know. Okay, down to 11. Naturalist is bad news, man. Contaminator's good, like Jewel Thief. If we go Jewel Thief, we'll have Safekeeping open. Invasion of Ixalan wasn't a bad draw either. So it's going to be Jewel Thief, right? Safekeeping open. Because they still haven't played any of their removal. Swing, cheese that 4 through because they don't trade. Unless they had protection in hand, and then that would be pretty good for them. Alright. Kami of Transience is dangerous, and they're going to try their best to remove that Jewel Thief, probably, but having that Tamiyo Safekeeping is huge for us, man. Reign of Truth. I bet it's onto that Naturalist, dude. Actually, it only gives them 2. They only have a couple enchantments, so it's up to 4. That's still bad, because they go back up to 12 then. So I guess we'll chump the Naturalist and then protect with Safekeeping. Right? I think that's worthwhile, especially since they had to tap their 1 planes to get rid of the Reign of Truth, so I doubt this is anything fancy with their green mana. Back up to 12. Okay. Safekeeping, so we could buff the Adaptive with the Contaminator, or the Loamspeaker for that matter. If it's a Loamspeaker, we still have Safekeeping open, which is probably the best bet. Now, this does have Vigilance too. Reign of Truth is going to buff their Naturalist again next turn. Yeah, going a little bit too slow here again, I would say. I'll tell you what, though. I'm thinking about that 1 of Giant Growth, and I'm thinking maybe we want 2 of them. I feel like that could have been insane. Like, again, a Giant Growth last turn taking out that Naturalist would have been huge for us, man. I don't know. That's something for the final thoughts for sure. We can at least double block the Naturalist now. At that rate, we're gonna be in trouble from the Kami of Transience depending on how far they buff that. So we might have to block over there to take less. The trample still gets some through, but we're in danger. Actually, both of us, we're both in danger. This is anyone's game, dude. We just know one thing for sure. They're going to be gaining 4 from the Naturalist, and we're going to be gaining 2 from the Safekeeping. So we can think of them at 8 and us at 9. Yeah, if they go like, oh no, the second Reign of Truth is so bad. If they go Transients, yeah, dude, that's really, really bad. Okay. Going up to 8. Okay. So we double block Transients, right? Take 8 damage. Like 7. We could take 7 if we block over here. I just need to protect the Jewel Thief and let the Loamspeaker die. So this is taking 7. Safekeeping the Jewel Thief. They go up to 8. Their last 2 green sources need to matter because we do have 8 on the board. Down to 2 thanks to our Safekeepings. All right. GG opponent. The last 2 green mana wasn't anything. Nice, guys. Nice. I'd say we got our revenge against Selesnya, but those were 2 very different versions of Selesnya, right? Because, I mean, regardless of, like, what they were trying to do, which both seemed to have the enchantment theme, but just, yeah, different versions completely. That felt good, dude. That was awesome. So far, I think it's doing the Stompy thing. It's definitely running a lot slower than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be, like, honestly, like hyper aggressive. But yeah, so far a little bit slower. So let's see if it just happened to be those 2 games there. All right, opponent, you bringing some Selesnya to the table, buddy? Oh, speaking of slow, yeah, I don't know. Like the opening hands too, maybe. I could be dropping the mulligan, but all right, I'll give it a shot. Yeah, we could try to find a faster lineup, but also, like, this isn't bad. Oh no, opponent, why? Ascendant Packleader, huh? Alright, we'll try the Beastcaller. That's a great counter for the opponent, but at least we have a couple 3-drops. Oh! Virtue of Loyalty. The Ardenvale Fealty for a 2/2 Vigilant Knight. Well, I feel like we should be afraid because this Virtue of Loyalty is just disgusting, dude. It's so hard to get around after they start, like, buffing their board state and untapping every turn with the style of decks that I like to play, you know, we're slamming creatures through. That makes it super difficult to get those creatures through successfully. Okay, taking the Jewel Thief out of the equation. Swinging. Yes, you can have the 2 off of that because Beastcaller's about to buff. Oh, nice. We found a Wastes. We don't need it on the board right now, so I am going to skip it. We're going to go Contaminator. Jewel Thief was a good grab from the opponent, I would say. So, removal for Contaminator, swing at Invasion of Gabakhan, start buffing that Knight. Ossification, okay. So if I didn't swing with Beastcaller, we had a chance to stop the invasion from flipping, right? Oh, it looks like they missed their 3rd too. Either way, that's going up to 3/3, and we can keep up pace with that, so... Giant Growth, okay. Let's see if this does a thing this game. We still don't need the Wastes on the board. Packleader before combat. See, like, keeping a blocker back, it just doesn't feel great. But Giant Growth, we might be able to get something good here. Giant Growth onto the Packleader as just a combat trick to take care of that Knight before it buffs above our range. The next turn we do have Jewel Thief, and we are kind of sort of flooding right now. Oh, there they go. They got their planes now with the farm hand. So there's their third. I don't know what the open plains could be. I'm pretty sure we're going to go for the combat trick and take out that knight. How do you guys feel about that? Let's do this. Our one of giant growth. Hopefully this is a good use of it. Ah, light shield array. That's actually not bad. At least that's gone. So they did that to protect their knight. Tamiyo safekeeping. Okay. We might as well play the forest. Since they know that this is a forest, they don't know that this is a waste. We'll go Jewel Thief, buff the Beastcaller. We have Safekeeping available. Swim with Beastcaller. We're getting like good damage through, but I don't know. There's something about like the order of things that just hasn't really been working out. And again, this could have been a mulligan match for sure, but we got to test the limits of the build. But yeah, there's just, you know what I mean? You guys feeling it too with this build? Just feels like the order isn't panning out the way we would like. A4. Hopefully it's not a board wipe or something. Archangel. Oh, buddy, that is terrible. That is awful for us. At least it doesn't give lifelink, but that flying and everything on the Vigilance creature? Yeah, dude. Oh, buddy. We are in trouble. Cool lists from the opponents today, though. Archangel Elspeth is like one of those planeswalkers that it's surprising not to see it floating around. Okay, adaptive. That gets the Beastcaller above that. So we play our land because why not? 6 land is a lot. And we have Safekeeping. If they double block, I guess it's just like full swing at the opponent's face because they're in danger. And Safekeeping protects whatever they try to take out. And then the chump. Do we just go for the protection then? Yes, and they're down to 6. They take that out. So too bad Beastcaller doesn't have trample. Okay. I'm going to go for the protection, guys. We will save the Jewel Thief just for the sake of having a wide board state here for next turn because we know they can get a token from the Archangel. If they play a land and go Virtue of Loyalty, dude, I don't even know. I don't even know where to begin. Oh no, they found removal. Ossification takes care of the Beastcaller. If I would have kept the Safekeeping in hand, we could have protected that Beastcaller. They can swing in the air successfully with that Vigilance creature. Down to 12. Barrel encounter? That would have been so good, dude. I wonder what creature we hit. Dude, oh my goodness, this would have been so good. That ossification taking care of that Beastcaller was rough, man. Ulvenwald. I mean, there's no question here, right? It can't be Contaminator. We need that haste for the turn. We still have 2 mana available. We can take out, so we buff Packleader, buff Adaptive. What a great draw, guys. We can take out the 1/1. It's too bad we can't hit that 5/5, but yeah, we just full swing, and whatever that 2 mana could be, we should probably be scared. So, Virtue, they get a chump blocker. They go 5/5 into the 4/4, 2/2 into the 3/2, and they take 5 damage, guys. Oh my goodness. Down to 1. Can we get there? This would be a perfect example game for having our Restless Land, right? Like powering up that Restless Land next turn would be huge for us. And the only other thing I can think of is like another Oddity off the top because we need to get around the 2 creatures. And they're going to be buffing their lifelink creature on the ground. Oh man, this really could have gone either way, huh? Adaptive. Okay. Okay, so this into that, we don't get through. And Adaptive doesn't do it, and we die next turn? Because they go -2, 2 counters onto the flyer. So at that point, we just go for the swing. Adaptive doesn't buff the other Adaptive. Oh, man. Yeah. GG, opponent. Brutal stuff, man. So yeah, the Restless Land would have done it. There's a few other things too, technically, huh? The Giant Growth earlier I used as a combat trick. Maybe if I would have used it to plug damage through instead. I don't know exactly what that would have changed. Did I drop the GG? That was a great game, opponent. That was a fun one. You gave me quite the puzzle. If I didn't use that Giant Growth as a combat trick, Invasion of Ixalan would still be on that board buffing everything too, probably, or they would have just used it at a better time as well. I don't know. Oh man, yeah, anyone's game, anyone's game. How far are we? 35 minutes? Dude, let's keep going, huh? We have time for one or two more. Feeling good about the list, but I'm also like not sure. It might come down to just like the more we play with the list, the more comfortable we get with certain decisions. Not like it's a hard list to play by any means. There's definitely like an order to the creatures that we play and stuff like that. And of course, deciding when to mulligan and when not to. Okay, we go first. All right, we keep this. Again, it's a little bit slow, but this isn't like, this is not a mulligan hand by any means, huh? Okay, Spiteful Hexmage. Let's see it. Okay, beautiful. Beastcaller was an excellent draw. I play that over Loamspeaker because a couple turns of Loamspeaker might be enough to get this Beastcaller to where we want it to be, huh? Go for the throat right away. They'd want to do it before we untap. And that's what they're thinking there for sure. Candy Grapple, swing for 3-2. If we would have went Loamspeaker, I'm pretty sure they would have killed it as well. Unfortunately, Jewel Thief is not something we want to see there. It's a kind of another game of weird ordering, right? Okay, we take the 3. Jadar gives them their tokens for bargaining, so mono black bargain potentially. Feral Encounter. Yikes. Let's go Jewel Thief, keep Safekeeping. And Jewel Thief at least blocks the Hex Mage, and then Safekeeping can protect it. But outside of that, we just need to keep the Safekeeping for spot removal. Last time we played with Candy Grapple, it was pretty decent, man. I like this card. I like it. Rankle's Prank. Okay, let's see what they choose here, right? So choose one or more. Each opponent discards 2 cards. Each player loses 4 life. Oh, each player discards 2 cards, yeah. So they're discarding as well. Each player sacrifices 2 creatures. Did they choose all of them? I didn't really see there. So one of the Jewel Thieves, that's fine. Loamspeaker? I think we want to keep the Feral Encounter. I don't know. And one of the other Loamspeakers too. Tough decision. Rankle's Prank is a cool one that I didn't get a chance to play with yet. The losing 2 life and the sacrifice, yeah, gets around the Safekeeping too. That's pretty brutal, man. That's brutal stuff. So we still have the 3 for the Jewel Thief here. Oh, Contaminator, nice. Okay. So even though we took a ton of damage this game, I think we're still in this, all right? They have 2 cards, 4 mana, just a 3-2 on the board. So I don't know. I think we're still in this, right? Now, we went Contaminator instead of Jewel Thief. Even though Jewel Thief would have replaced the treasure token, Contaminator blocks their 3-2. Which, yeah, looks like we were able to slow down their turn there, luckily. So now we can go Feral Encounter, but we don't have enough lands on the board anyways. Safekeeping. We could go for the swing. I think we go for the swing because there's a good likelihood that they found just spot removal with the Beseech. Actually, they probably just went for Sheoldred, right? Because that can help wrap up the game even if we put a bunch of creatures down. Alright, Loamspeaker helps us ramp into the Jewel Thief next turn, but if we see mana off the top, we can go Jewel Thief and keep Safekeeping open, I guess? Yeah, it was the Sheoldred. Alright, we're in trouble, dude. Down to 2, let's see it. Another Tamiyo Safekeeping. does protect us for a few turns. Feral Encounter doesn't get rid of the Shieldred, unfortunately. Just don't have a big enough cards on the board. So if we go wide, though, we go Jewel Thief, Safekeeping, we can double block Shieldred, and protect the Contaminator, and gain 2 so we're not... No, then it's the Hexmate. We can't successfully double block the Shieldred, guys. If it was Feral Encounter that turn, we wouldn't have open mana for Safekeeping either. Braids! Oh no! We're gonna probably have to sacrifice the Loamspeaker here. They don't go for the swing, which is actually not bad for us. And then we can sacrifice Loamspeaker to the Braids ability. Actually, they should get rid of a land. We only have 2 lands. Okay. But we do have the 1, 2... How do we do this, guys? How do we get around any of this? If it's Jewel Thief, we'll have open mana. You know what? It's going to be Jewel Thief because we have the Feral Encounter then. We're holding on by a thread, dude. Not seeing the 3rd land was pretty unlucky, I guess. Only 21 land, though. I guess maybe. So, Feral Encounter. We have 1 mana available if we want to find a 1 mana card. We do. We do find a 1 mana card. But then we won't have Safekeeping open to protect us from the Shieldred there, too, so... So it's... Bloated Contaminator, attack the Braids. And at some point, so we die to the Shieldred, or we go Safekeeping and try to survive for the turn. Oh man, dude, GG opponent. Oh, we still have time for 1 more too, so. This would be a swing, then we go block Safekeeping, get to keep the Contaminator, but they're at 16, so there's really nothing to worry about with the full swing. Oh no! Turn up to 2 creature cards from you. Okay, so they're getting rid of the Loamspeaker. We still wanted to be able to protect the Contaminator if they do end up swinging in with Shieldred. So I thought they were gonna do a different lineup there a little bit. Okay, Safekeeping. No swing from the opponent. Not like it mattered there, but... Okay, down to 1. Mosswood Dreadknight. This is the way... This is the way to concede, guys. Good game. Woo, tough uphill battles today, huh? But I don't know. I'm like split. I'm right in the middle with this build right now. I feel like it should be doing more than what we're doing, but also just like the ordering of literally everything feels a little bit awkward. I would say more testing required, but we're going to try 1 more game, see how it goes, and then hop into the final thoughts. Because I feel like the games have been relatively fast too. We're 43 minutes in. If it ends up taking too long and it's leaning towards the opponent, we'll just give it to the opponent. Totally fine. Let's see if we can get like a better lineup in our starting hand. And I won't test a bad hand. We'll just... Oh, this is terrific, actually. And we go first. Yes. Yes, dude. This is what I'm talking about, man. Oh, buddy. This is what I'm talking about. Mono red, huh? I'd take that block. I'll take that. Yeah. Swift Spear out of here. That's good. Beastcaller, don't get hit by burn, buddy. You got this. You can survive. I believe in you. Oh, Raging Battle Mouse. Okay. Okay, Beastcaller's alive, dude. Being the 3rd again. So it's going to be Loamspeaker off the Beastcaller. We do get a swing. And I'm really, really hoping they don't just Lightning Strike the Beastcaller. But with Raging Battle Mouse, everything could get a little bit too cheap really fast, right? You go like Raging Battle Mouse number 2 or any 2-drop and then have a 1 mana Lightning Strike take care of that Beastcaller. Get to plug that counter onto Loamspeaker though, so maybe they want to double down on burn. Mechanized Warfare. Wow. we might be getting a little lucky here. Yeah, speaking of like an awkward lineup, I feel like we might be getting a little lucky based on everything it could have been, right? So Loamspeaker buff, Ascendant Packleader buff. We just buff as much as possible and skip the safekeeping, right? And we go Loamspeaker since we're not seeing mana. Beastcaller to 5 is terrific, dude. It's hard for mono red to remove a 5/5 sometimes, unless they specifically built around it, which of course Mechanized Warfare could easily get them there to take out the Beastcaller, but if we can plug those counters elsewhere as well, like that's where a Kumano Faces Kakazan would come in handy, to make sure that it gets exiled instead. So, Battle Mouse making something cheap. Play with Fire is 3 damage because of Warfare. Buff the Spell Spear. Keep blockers back? Yeah, they keep blockers back. Feral Encounter, nice. Probably take out that Raging Battle Mouse, I would say. We still have Safekeeping open, or we could find a 1 mana. Beastcaller, I'll just decline that, that's fine. That's totally fine. And I guess it's Raging Battle Mouse, right? Over the Spell Spear? I think so. Okay, we're gonna hold the other creatures back for now. Especially the Loamspeaker, we want to have Safekeeping open, because their Spell Spear does 3, and then if it's like a Play with Fire, we would just Safekeeping. But yeah, keeping that Safekeeping open here. Seems like a really awkward order for the opponent, and they just drew their 5th mana too, so... Oh! Burn down the house! Oh my goodness. Well, first of all, Safekeeping the Beastcaller. The good thing we kept the Safekeeping open, dude. My goodness. Opponent's at 7. Oh, GG, opponent. Everything lined up a little bit better there, but again, like just like chilling at 2 mana? Super awkward, man. We were able to do a thing still, luckily because of Loamspeaker, we were able to hold open like the safekeeping and stuff, but my goodness, man. The build felt a little awkward today, didn't it? Man, let's go ahead and talk about the list here. Okay, Mono Green Stompy, splashing the black source for the Mosswood Dreadknight's adventure, which we didn't get to use too often there, and the Restless Cottage, which we didn't get to swing in with either, did we? Or did we? I forget right now, honestly. We actually got quite a few matches in, it feels like, today. Yeah, here's the list again. Felt weird. Felt like we just weren't seeing an order to anything. The last game we saw an order to things, but then we just never saw a 3rd mana either, so we didn't realistically get to pop off like we would want, but we were still plugging in a significant amount of damage, but then also felt like we were getting a little lucky where mono red just wasn't seeing anything over there. That's what it felt like, at least, right? Like, yeah, speaking of a bad order of cards, it looked like they were getting a awkward order as well, so... Yes, I don't know what to say about this build. Guys, let me know in the comments. Do you think we had an awkward order today, and is that just how the deck is built? Or were we getting a little unlucky in some of those games and just seeing a super awkward order? The 21 land didn't feel like enough by any means, so I guess 22 would be fine, but when we're ramping with the Loamspeaker, Jewel Thief, grabbing lands with Invasion of Ixalan if we really need to as well, right? Just didn't feel like enough, and that's probably because of Feral Encounter too, being like our main removal. This was totally fine, but we only got to play a creature off of this once, and that is, again, just like the land, it just didn't feel like enough at all. And then also, yeah, I guess having like the Restless Cottage being 4 mana, and you have to have that open to actually swing with it too. So 5 mana total for a swing on Restless Cottage. 21 just didn't feel like enough, even with all the ramp. So what would we drop and go up for the 22nd land? Probably like a Jewel Thief, as funny as that is. You're taking out like some of that ramp, but going down that 3-drop, well, Bloated Contaminator, no. I wouldn't drop the Contaminator. Just being like a 3 mana 4/4 is ridiculous, dude. If you go down a Contaminator, that's going to be like one less thing that buffs the Evolving Adaptive past a 3/3 too, so I think it would be Jewel Thief, yeah. Jewel Thief down to 3, go up a 20-second land, and I think that would make the deck a little bit more consistent, hopefully. And hopefully you don't just end up flooding out every game then, right? But at that point, that's the name of the game, man. That's just Magic the Gathering, right? I would think so. Outside of that, yeah, a little bit of optimization. That's what I would do. Go up the 20-second land, drop 1 Jewel Thief. But Jewel Thief was so good today, wasn't it? But maybe it was just so good because we desperately needed the extra mana off the treasure too. And if you get rid of the Jewel Thief, that treasure is a little bit less mana fixing for the Splash of Black. No, we still need that 20-second land, I think, though, right? What would you guys add? What would you guys drop for that 20-second? And do you agree with me? Do we need that 20-second? I don't know. I could sit here and stare at this list all day and try to figure out exactly what was happening there. I guess it could come down to just like too many 2-drops as well. Maybe that's what made it feel a little awkward. But on that note, we could go down to 1 Invasion of Ixalan. I still like this card being in here. But is it necessary? Maybe we could drop both of these, right? If you drop 1 Invasion, go up the 20-second land, you could keep all the Jewel Thief, and that lets you keep the mana fixing too. Oh, Giant Growth. Do we want to talk about 2 of these? Maybe. I think there were a lot of moments in those games where just like an extra Giant Growth would have helped out a lot. Like a lot. Like would have actually helped us win 1 or 2 of those games, right? So maybe drop both Invasion of Ixalans, go up a Giant Growth and a land. Or 1 Invasion of Ixalan, 1 Jewel Thief, go up that second Giant Growth and a land, right? Yeah, okay, all right. Here's what I would do, guys, and this is what I would test the deck out on again. So yeah, obviously more testing required, but this is what I would end up doing. I would drop 1 Invasion, so we'd have a 1 of in here. I would drop 1 Jewel Thief, so we would have 3 of them in here. And then I would go up a land, that's to 22, and I would go up that 1 Giant Growth, just because in a lot of those games, I think this actually would have been excellent. So, yeah, all right. Enough rambling, huh? Guys, if you made it this far into the video for real, y'all are champions. I super duper appreciate you, and I will see you in the next video.